So hello and welcome to the first video of the channel and the first tutorial. And today I'll show you how I make my videos as expected. So I'll tell you the full process behind it, from inspiration ideation all the way up to uploading on the right time, hashtags, captions and all that stuff. So the video will be quite informative for you. So without any further delays, let's get started. So today we are going to recreate this video, and obviously this is the first video that got viral on January 21. It has like 580,000 likes and 6 million plus views, and it is still getting some views and engagement. So I think this video will be best for the first tutorial of this channel. Funny thing is, before this video I had like 59 followers, and after this video, this video alone got me like 15,000 followers. So that's pretty insane. And actually we will recreate a better version of this, because when I was creating this video, this was like the third or fourth video that I was creating on After Effects. So that's why I was little noob at this time, you can say. So let's first get into the steps. The step number one is obviously the inspirations or the ideations for this video. So there are three ways in which you can get inspiration or ideas. The first one is obviously Instagram itself. You can look up to other creators and you can get inspirations from them. Next is the Pinterest. If you are a creative person and you don't know about this app, highly recommended. You can get many inspirations from this. You can see it may be an image or it may be a quote, anything you like, you can transform into your own idea and your own animation. And the third one, which is like I think the most important one, is from your real life incidents. So you can say like most of my videos, almost 90% of them are related to my real life incident, what I observe and what are the lessons that I have learned. I think every person can extract some values from their real life and put it into like videos or books or course. That's how humans work in this world. So that's where most of the ideas come from. So these are the three ways in which you can get your ideas and inspirations. Moving on to the second step. So before moving on, one important thing that I forgot to tell you is that ideas are ideas. They come randomly. So whenever you get some ideas which you think is good for your video randomly, it can be anything. What you can do is you can quickly open up your notes app on your phone and you can quickly note it down. That's what I do most of the time. Most of the ideas come when I listen to like audiobooks and I read some books, or mostly when I do the gym. So most of my ideas come from here, the real life ideas, and I note it down as soon as I get them, because you can always forget it later. The second step is visualization. Like now you have to visualize your ideas on, like you can use a notebook for drawing your animation. Here are some examples which I have drawn animation. You really have to just draw 1 or 2 frames or write any dialogues related to the character which you think are important. So that way you can keep a record of your animation and you'll never forget the important parts of it. So usually what I do is I write my ideas, and when I think they are like more than enough, like 20 or 25 or like any number which I think is more than enough for me, then I start drawing them, and I draw like 10 to 15 animations, ideas. And one more important thing about this is like not all of your ideas will be going to the visualization part. Some of them will be discarded, and same thing with the visualization to editing part. That is the important 2 steps before moving on to the editing part. I think most of the people ignore this part and they try to copy other creators. I have also copied many animations before and I've also uploaded it. I think there is no harm in copying others. That's how we learn. But after like copying, you have to come to your own visualization and your own storytelling. That's how we evolve as human beings. So let's get started with the editing process. So before moving on, as I have told before, I edit my videos on After Effects. So if you don't know how to use After Effects, or if you need a full tutorial on the basics of the After Effects, you can just comment it down and I'll make a quick 15 to 20 minutes tutorial on fundamentals of After Effects, where I will give you some really important tips and some practical tips that will help you to create animations in After Effects. So let me know in the comments. So let's get started. Let's create a new composition. I'm using a 4K vertical format. As you can see, let's name this tutorial. Enter. As you can see, we have got the composition. And now we'll set up the scene first. So grab the pen tool from here or click Z. Then I'll make the width 16 pixels. And then you have to click here and press shift and click one more time. So this will create a perfectly, horizontal line. Then you can see here, you can zoom by scrolling your mouse, or you can zoom from here also. I'll fit up to 100%. Then this is like the ground. So you can name from here, click enter, and you can name ground. And then you can start building your scene. First of all, I'll press P from the ground and I'll make this down a little bit and then start creating the mountain. Just randomly create the shape of the mountain as you like. This part will not be visible anyways. So after creating it, you can just name this mountain and then fill this with a random color. And then we are going to move this side so it matches our video perspective. So the next step is I'll duplicate the mountain, Ctrl+D, and I'll turn the fill option to none. And for the mountain one, I'll reduce the stroke to 0. And then I'll apply an effect called gradient ramp on it by selecting these to the right and selecting the colors to blue, dark blue on the bottom and cyan type on the top. Let's make it more dark and make a purple. So one thing we can do is like we can make a dent. We can modify the shape of the mountain a little bit. Press G and make a shape here and just make it like this. Same for this one. You can do this before duplicating the mountain. It will be better. So like this is better. And then we are going to import our characters in it. So I've got these two characters right here. And by the way, I forgot to tell, the project file and all these assets which I'll be using will be linked down in the description. So let's just import them. One thing about these icons are they are black in color, as you can see. So to make them white, you can apply an effect called invert, and these will make them white. So actually in the original video, I used shapes to make this character, which is like very time consuming. And I don't think it looks good. As you can see, this character is much better, which I have downloaded from Freepik. You can also download these characters from Freepik. It's completely free. So one thing we have to do is create the face of this character. So let's just go to the shapes tool, create an eye first, hit the fill color to black, create an eye, hold shift for a perfect circle, and there you go, we got an eye. And I'll just use the pen tool again, make the fill none and make the stroke black, and let's just go with 4 pixels. And I'll make the eyebrow just like that. As you can see, it gives a little worried feeling. And then a sad face from here. to here. As you can say, it's more like a surprised face. So you can always make your own emotions by, you can always modify this later by just clicking on this and making here and there changes. I just don't want to waste your time. I just want to give you the idea how these videos are made, and obviously you can make your own video by using this knowledge. So the next step is import the other character, and same step apply the invert effect. One more problem we got here is that this character is climbing on steps, so we actually have to mask it, or one thing we can do is like we can make this layer below the mountain layer, and we can do something like this. I don't know if it will actually work. And let's just modify the mountain layer a little bit. I don't know why I'm doing this. I think it's just fun to just, do this modifying things. You can always mask it if you like, but I'm going to just fill the mountain colors over the layer. There we go, it's hidden now. Let's make a face for him also. So black, we have already selected the right stroke and color. First of all, let's make eye black. Make the stroke zero. And let's just move the eye to the let's just eye. Then go to the spin tool. Hit the stroke zero, none, and then 4 pixels of stroke. And then just make a angry eyebrow. I think this is good. And make a evil smile or sad smile, you can say. That's it. So one thing that I've realized over the past time on uploading Instagram is that whenever you upload like these, you can say grid backgrounds, which many people like, but the problem is the quality of the video for some reason gets cut down by Instagram, and you see a little bit of pixelation in the background. Either way, you can just add a gradient to it. That will be better. Let me show you. So let's just add a solid first. Ctrl plus Y. Any color. Let's name this BG for background. Move this down. And then let's add a gradient ramp to this. By the way, this is a plugin. This is a completely free plugin, which is, I think, I forgot the name. If you want the tutorial on fundamentals of After Effects and how to use it, I'll tell you every plugin I use, and also the best free plugins which you can use to make your workflow faster and work better. Just like this, for example, this plugin. So let's just swap the colors and make the white color a little bit dark. I think this is good. And now I'll show you how to add the grid effect. So Ctrl plus Y. You can name this anything. The color, it doesn't even matter. Grid. Then make this down above the background layer. And then apply an effect called, obviously, grid. Here you can see you have got the grid background. You can modify the the size of the squares or the rectangles. You can make it anything you like. I usually keep the border to 2. That looks good. Now we'll come to the very important part, which is parenting and linking. So as you know, we have made all these shapes for the face. So you have to just parent this. As you can see, this is the layer, and these are the shapes that we have made for the face. So what you have to do is select all of this by control clicking, and this is the pick whip tool, and you can just parent it to the layer, the image layer. Now you can move this, as you can see, and the face will be stuck to the layer which we want. So let's just make it where it was. And then same thing for the climbing person. You can just see which are the layers, these 3 ones, and you can just parent them to the layer. And then we have got our scene. Now we have to add the dialogues, the camera movement, and one title on the top. So first let's just at the title. Let's just align this on the middle. Increase the size a little bit. Position it a little bit down. You can add your own colors to it as you like. I'm trying to match the colors that I used in this video. So the mindset is red and difference is white. We'll add the glow effect at the last, because if you start adding all the effects in the beginning, it will make your PC slow. And I don't have like a high-end PC, so I also keep this quality of the viewport at quarter, which makes my workflow like very smooth. So now let's add the camera movements. So for camera movement, we are going to parent a null to it. So you have to grab the most basic parts of the layer which you want to move. For example, I want to move the ground. I want to move these two layers obviously, and I want to move the mountain layers. And as you can see, all these layers are already parented, so I don't need them to parent to the null. This will create a lot of problem. So these are the layer which I want to parent. So first of all, I'll right click here, new null object, and then what I will do is select all my layers, man, mountain 2, and ground. And you don't want the background to animate, it's just fine as it is. And deselect the null layer, and then we're gonna pick whip to the null. Now here is the magic. If you move the null layer, you can see the whole scene is moving except for the background and the text effect, which we obviously don't want to move. Then you're gonna keyframe the position, the scale, and usually at 1 second. It really depends on your song where you want to zoom in, obviously on the beats. So let's go to about 1 second and then scale this up, move this here, and this is like, I think this is good. When the song, like the beat drops, we'll pan this to the guy climbing the mountain. So it looks like this, something like this, the zoom in and the pan. Obviously we want this very fast, so we'll just close in the keyframes. Yes, see now. And then we are going to easy ease this keyframe, select all the keyframes and then hit F9. As you can see, now the movement will be much smoother. We are going to ramp up this keyframe a little more. So select the keyframes, go to the graph editor by clicking this button and then zoom a little bit, and we will select these keyframes and create this type of graph. Let's see now. As you can see, much better. We can close this a little bit. So this will give you animation, or you can just zoom out a little bit more, which will obviously give you a different effect. Okay, so the next thing is adding the dialogues. So just click the pen tool, make it white, make this 12 and make a line here. As you can see, we'll make a little bit wider. Let's go with 18 pixels. That's much better. Now we'll open the layer, go to contents, shape 1, stroke and butt cap to round cap, mid joint to round joint. Now we'll hit the plus icon, as you can see, and we'll increase the dash. As you can see, it creates this dotted line effect, which is really cool. Now we have three dots here, and then we'll go to add and trim paths. Just keyframe the end button and hit U. This will close all the settings and open up just the trim paths animate button. So let's just start when the camera is here. We'll make a keyframe and make it 0. Now, as you can see, this will create this effect, and then we'll add a text effect above this. Add a text layer. Will I succeed? Let's align the text right here. What I did with the original video was that I created my own preset by masking the layer and keyframing the opacity, which is like very time consuming and it doesn't even look that good. So what I'll do is I'll go to the plugin, which is the Animation Composer. Obviously this is also free, so you can download highly recommended plugin. So this has like some text effects, which is pretty cool, and you just have to click it and you just have to click on both in and out, which will give you the both in and out animation. So I'll just select this text layer and I'll just click both. So this will create a animation, as you can see, which is not exactly what we want. So we'll drag this in button and we'll drag this end button also, and same thing for the end part. We'll drag this down, close this, and I'll just duplicate this and I'll just align this and I'll type the next thought. So it will look something like this, and same thing for the third dialogue. So as you can see, we have got this. Let me just fit it. Let's just make it a little bit big and place it a little bit right, so that looks good. Now you have to parent this layer also, because as the camera will move, this layer will be linked with the camera, so we don't want that. So what you can do is you can just parent this to the this object, or you can just end this layer, make a keyframe and end this layer right here, so it looks something like this. Let's just make it some. Obviously this is not aligned to the song perfectly. Obviously I can't play the song, so this keyframes will be aligned with the song and the dialogues will be aligned with the song. Then as the camera moves to this guy, let me just make it a little bit more faster. That's good. We'll create one more dialogue. So let's align this text, rotate this a little bit, R for rotation. Then obviously I have to parent this text to any layers here. So I'll parent it to, let's just say, so I'll just parent it to the null. That will give me the effect. As you can see, we got here, and we are finally done with the scenes and the setup of the video. Now coming to our favorite part, which is adding the effects. So I just start with the mountain layer. The plugin that I use for glow, which is like very famous these days just because of these animations, it is called Deep Glow. So you can apply this on the stroke layer of the mountain. I don't think I applied it before, but I think it will look good, so why not? And I'll decrease the brightness, the exposure, and then I'll copy this and apply it to the ground also. So it looks a little bit echoey. I'll apply this to mindset difference also and increase the exposure a little bit. Then obviously all the text. Then I'll apply this also to the text layers. So the next part is applying a glow to the text layer from here. So I'll apply a glow effect to this and go to tint, enable the tint, and this will make it red. So finally we have added the glow effect and we have also added all the effect. Finally, with all this, our video is not done yet. We have one little piece of, what you could say is a very little but a very important thing left. That is motion blur. So as you can see, when this camera moves, there is no motion blur. So this looks really flat. So we don't want that. To spice things up, we will add the motion blur. So I'll select the bottom layer and I'll shift select the shape layer 7, which doesn't have motion blur. All these text effects already have motion blur, so we don't have to apply anything. Then we'll click this button and that's how motion blur is applied. As you can see, things are a little bit more interesting. Now the last thing is to add the shake effect, which we will be adding in CapCut. So the reason to use CapCut is simple because it has some really cool effects and transition which is really easy to apply. And one more thing is that if you look at the file size of the After Effects, as you can see, it is 282 MBs, which is not compressed. So after exporting it from CapCut, the file size is really compressed and the video quality remains almost the same. So there is not a really big difference. So that's why I use CapCut for effects and for compressing the video, because if you upload the After Effects file, it will get compressed by Instagram, which doesn't look good at all. Let's just apply the final effects to it. First of all, we'll delete this shake effect and we'll apply a play pendulum, which gives a little bit of movement, and we'll reduce the twist to 0 and we'll reduce the strength to 7. So it is like a little bit of this pendulum effect. Let's make it 5. So it is just a simple pendulum effect. Now the next effect is obviously the shake effect, which will be applied after the after the beat drop. So right around here. So as you can see, I think it is too much, so I'll reduce it to 25. That's much better. Then you can add your logo here and you can export this video. So that is how you make these types of animation on After Effects and using some effects on CapCut. So if you have any further questions, let me know in the comment section. And also if you have any future video suggestions. That is it for today. See you in the next video. Peace out.